Good evening, everyone. This is Lloyd Woods from the Ninth Vibration, and I also have Lindsay Knight from the Ninth Vibration / the Hermit Numerologist. And we're on for the November the 24th, 2020 edition of the mini past life numerology readings. So these are free readings that we're doing. All you need to do is text 226-750-6534, but we would like to have your name and a phone number that we can call you back on. We're doing this because we want to have the privacy thing going on, and we don't really want to advertise everybody's phone number. So, the big news coming through. Well, we're about 4 weeks away from Christmas, and no one knows what's going to be going on in the next couple of weeks. With this COVID thing going on and everything, both Lindsay and I wish that you all be safe and careful and healthy for this whole time. Nobody wants to be sick around this time period, and well, let's face it, it looks like we're going to be in a bit of a lockdown until after Christmas. That's my own personal belief, but we'll see what the numbers do for the leaders that have the say on that kind of thing. So that in mind, we have continually been bringing in some new products into the store. Invite you to come around and take a look at it. Currently, Guelph is in the orange category, so we're still allowed to be open. Unfortunately, not like the Toronto people who are in a complete lockdown. So stay safe. Yeah, I hope that we are in a better position than what they are. So this weekend on the 28th and 29th, Lindsay Knight is going to be in the store to do some numerology readings. Right now she is fully booked, but who knows, there might be a cancellation coming through. So if you wanted to be on some sort of wait list, give us a call at the store, 519-265-9099, and we'd be glad to see if we can fit you in. Coming up through December, we have Lewis Maybe in on December the 8th. He's a psychic medium, and he likes to do all of his own booking through his own website. So if you want to have a reading with Lewis, please go to www.lewismabee.com, and you can surf your way through to his scheduled appointments that are being held in Guelph. On December the 2nd, we have Sequoia. She is a tarot reader, and she is doing the tarot readings with a Celtic slant. So she is very much into the Celtic, I guess you would call it religion and faith. She is doing both tarot and Ogham, which is a form of, well, most people are familiar with runes from the Viking era, but the Ogham is just as old, if not older, and it is a Celtic slant. So it's very different that way as well. On December the 6th, we have Patty Mack in, and she is a psychic medium and doing readings on the Sunday. On the 12th and the 13th, we have Lindsay, beautiful Lindsay Knight, doing readings. And then from there on in, we are in the short race until Christmas. So I think we're basically going to be hanging out at the store and seeing what we can do to help people find all the gifts that they're looking for the people. So just as a reminder, between Christmas and New Year's Eve, we will be closing the store just to basically let the store settle out and regenerate some of the energies there. It's been kind of crazy the last few weeks. Don't get me wrong, we love it. But we think we need to also give the store a break and let the energy work its way through a lot of different things. So, with that in mind, I think I'm going to pass this over to Lindsay Knight, the star of the show.
Oh, come on. Star of the show. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Hello, everybody. This is Tuesday night. I'm all messed up. Doesn't feel like Tuesday. So, just so you know, I had a bit of a crazy day, so I didn't get the draw done, but we'll get it done and then we're going to announce it. We are drawing for Sandy Edwards, her beautiful magical treatment, which we're very excited about. I wish I could have been in that draw, but then again, Christmas is coming and perhaps Lloyd is listening.
Huh?
And so I'm very excited about that. We'll be doing that after. Today just got ahead of me. Like, it just was one of those blurry days. So we will be doing that shortly. The other thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is if you want a reading this evening, the best thing to do is, if you don't mind, just turning down your sound, because if not, we get feedback and it just kind of is like that nail on the chalkboard thing for me. It's like, and so yes, also a piece of paper would be good and a pen. So I'm going to give you some dates. So, you know, during the reading, I know there's a lot of information coming at you pretty quick. And so it's sometimes after the read. The other thing too is, if you'd like to share this, this event on your page, we're also going to be giving away a free draw for a reading with me, which I just finished doing the free draw the other day, and it's just so much fun. And so if you share, then you get to be entered into it. Also, I think that's it really, other than I am going to come on at some point just doing the 2021 thing. It's going to be a big year. It's going to be a big year of renegotiating. It's going to be a year of spiritual truth. It is going to be a year of where we get to renegotiate relationships that aren't working for us anymore, and being able to really draw a line. So we're coming into a really spiritually high vibration. This year, all of us have had to stand in our power. All of us in the year 2020 have had to take a step, come out of our comfort zone. As much as that's difficult, there's no doubt a lot of us have been challenged during this time, but we've also grown, which is, it's all good. So I'm definitely going to do an evening read. Lloyd, how do you feel about that?
Cool.
And we'll just do forecasting what your particular year is going to be like in the year 2021, which is a 5-year, which is really, really good. Other than that, I think we're good to go. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to just make paper. I'm going to be working with my deck. And whenever you're ready, I'll take it. Bring it on. Ready for 2021. Yay! Yay. Thank you, my darling. Good evening, Julie. You beautiful soul. Okay, so we're going. We're going to get going. We're doing Lisa. Okay. There you go, Lloyd.
There you go.
Hello?
Hi, is this Lisa?
This is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. This is Lindsay calling you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Sure. It's Lisa.
Okay.
Not
And
that.
yep, nope, that's good. The first name is really great. So looking at your first letter, and this is your cornerstone letter, and this is the letter L. So this lets me know I shared the same letter with you. So it's a person that definitely knows. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. There's no doubt in my mind that there is a bottom line for you. And if you look at your soul essence, the letter directly beside it, it's an I. So this really speaks of an independent spirit, a person that likes her own time. It's not like you're a loner type per se, but you definitely like space on your own. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's like I like my independence. Like I guarantee that you don't like needy friends or people that sort of suck the life out of you. You like people to have their own groove, and that you kind of just come into their life, but not people that lean on you. The other thing, which is the capstone letter, which is your last letter in your name, is an A. So this really is the energy of a bridge. And a bridge often finds themselves kind of definitely working through conflict. They don't like conflict. They don't like confrontation. They don't like it when this person isn't talking to this person. And often they feel the need to try and heal that, or they try to fix that. And then the letter right in the middle of your name is a shapeshifter. So this lets me know that you definitely have a wizard energy. That when you like something and you're excited about something, that you have this huge energy around it. And if you don't like it, like you just completely disengage. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's like all or nothing, right? It's like if you love it, you love it, and you're just completely immersed in it. And if you're not into it, then you just kind of, you're just not. Your birth year?
1976.
Okay. Wow. So this is, you understand you're an old soul.
Yes, I would say so.
And that for you, there's no doubt in my mind that there's a part of that you just feel somewhat silence, that you withhold your truth.
Yes.
And that there's a part of you that is afraid that you're either going to hurt somebody, or that you're going to say something that perhaps somebody will get upset about. So you hold it just kind of all up in your upper part of your body.
Oh. Yes, I could see that.
Yes. And so, I mean, for you, there's no doubt that you also have a great moral kind of fabric. Like, you know, somewhat politically minded. Like, no doubt you have strong feelings about animal cruelty or infidelity, or, you know, any type of abuse, that you're very sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that you're very, no doubt that definitely you're very sensitive to any type of shaming.
Yes.
And for you, you can look at a person and just look in their eyes, and you know right away if they like you or if they don't like you.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I mean, so intuitive, eh? Like, I mean, you're so cool because you can just look at a person and like you understand that there's a language that you read that is like nonverbal.
I would, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no doubt. Your month?
August?
Yeah. That's very cool. Like, you understand that you're like a real advocate. Like, if somebody was in line and they're being mistreated, that you could not help yourself. You would have to say something.
Yes, but,
And
yes.
I mean, there's like very, very sensitive. Like, nobody's going to be mistreated in your presence at all. Like, you're very big on respect, communication, balance, and just being able to have like just this very respectful kind of thing, that you're sensitive to that, no doubt, if you don't get that.
Yes, and I just choose to always see the best in people and try to put myself in their shoes and not be judgmental.
Yes, but at the same time, you know, like, you're no pushover either. Like, if somebody's behaving really bad, like, there's no doubt in my mind that you know that you'll stand up and say, no, this is just not right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, I have the backbone.
Yeah, like, there's no doubt in my mind. Your day?
The 12th.
Wow. So for you, like, you understand, for you, where you store a lot of your emotion is in your tummy.
Okay.
And like, there's like a knot, like for you, like there's just whenever, because where I work, this is where I work with triggering. I'm very interested in what you do when you're triggered, or you're worried or fearful. And for you, there's no doubt that it's your mind and it's your heart and it's your tummy, and they almost feel like they're all joined and they just kind of move in the same energy. They feed each other. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. And so for you, it's almost like it just spins. So in other words, from the moment there's conflict until that conflict or problem is resolved, that you're just kind of in a bit of a flurry of internal kind of spin.
Yeah.
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 And see, what's really interesting is no doubt in my mind, in a past life, you lived the life of a soldier. And this would be a protector. And there is no doubt, like you understand that you have a bit of armor.
I would say so.
And
Yeah.
you would know when this armor comes up because when you get upset, you just feel like this wall come up and you retreat.
Yeah.
You sort of pull away. And so just so you know, with the soldier, I mean, they're driven, they're ambitious, they're protective, they're devoted. There's no doubt in my mind, there's a part of you that believes that you have to prove that you are good or that you're worthy.
Yeah.
Yes, and that you never give up. You never give up on anyone. Like it's hard for you to shut the door on someone.
Yeah.
Yes, like I mean, there's no doubt. Like you're very, what's the word? Like I guarantee in a past life that either you left soldiers behind or either some of the soldiers died around you. So for you, like that dedication, it's like you can't give up. It's hard for you to give up on someone, even if you feel that they're not good for your life.
Yes, that's very true.
Yes. Okay. Last year, this is where you would have drawn a line. What negotiation and line did you draw last year?
I don't know.
I want you to think you would have come into a truth and you would have maybe said no or tried to say no, or it's where you would have drawn a line. And this would be connected to 2014.
It could be work, just maybe standing up for myself.
Okay. And then 2014 would be another big year for you.
2014. Probably the same thing, work.
Okay. 1996, you would have been 20 years old.
Oh, wow. 1996. Maybe just deciding on what I wanted to do in school.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a PSW at the hospital, at Victoria Hospital in London.
Okay. And there's no doubt in my mind that for you, I mean, there's no doubt that you would be a service, but you know, it's kind of interesting because I could see you getting into some advocacy, like working, like whether it's with communication with the family, or I just want you not to shut the door. I just feel like you understand that you're quite driven with your work.
I am.
And that there's no doubt in my mind that you're very, very good at what you do.
I do. I love people. I like helping people.
Right, but it's more like you also are an advocate. So it's not, it's about like, you know, just restoring balance of people and making sure that their rights are being honored and all that stuff as well.
You nailed it.
Yes. Yeah, there's no doubt. Like it's just neat. Like you just would be an advocate. I mean, think about it. Like you protect some people that are quite vulnerable.
Yes, and I have a health condition myself, so I deal with that in my workplace. So I'm constantly standing up for myself.
Yes.
With my disability.
Okay. And so just so you know, like, I mean, you are an absolute hero. Like you are the energy of the chariot. They are self-motivated. They're self-driven. Like my mother is a chariot and she is 98 years old. And it's just really amazing because they have this beautiful spirit. And like you understand that there is this will inside of you that absolutely just drives your energy. Do you mind, can we do your mother's birth year?
Sure, 1947.
Okay, and the month?
February.
And the day?
24.
Okay. Wow. So just so you know, like if you look at your mother's history, Okay? Like if you look at her legacy, if you look at her ancestry, I guarantee that you absorbed a lot of her experience when you were developing inside of her body.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, think about it. Like, for you, I guarantee you hold your emotions and you bring them into your body. So one thing I definitely want you to do, and I do believe that you have done that more so this year, and that next year you're going to do it even more, which is going to liberate you, is I want you to, like, definitely speak about how you feel. There's no doubt in my mind that because you are such an empath, that you put everybody else before you. And so it's really being able to restore the balance of that. Like, you know, and knowing what we can do and what we can't do and what we need to absorb and what we don't. For you, you have a past life contract with your mother. So if you were to look at her history, I guarantee you that she had a difficult one and that you came to this life and your life gave her purpose. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And so do you see how that would put you under a lot of pressure?
Yes.
And so let me ask you, you tell me when in your life you haven't felt pressure.
I've always had, I wouldn't say, I've always had pressure.
That's right. And I'm just here to say, do you see how, if you were to be able to kind of balance that out and just kind of honor that, how it would take a lot of pressure off your physical body?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because one thing I guarantee you, that because you had a past life connected with a soldier, there's no doubt in my mind that you just feel like you have to prove yourself, that you have to just bring it all. And I'm just here to say that finding the balance of that would be really great. And being able to go into the body, like regress back into the energy of the soldier and just make peace with your history. Because there's no doubt in my mind, in that lifetime, you witnessed a lot, and that perhaps, you know, you saw things that you just didn't want to see. And so that's why you've come into this vibration armored, like, if that makes sense to you.
Oh, that does, yeah.
And you see how if you're armored, like if I went and put like some armor on me, like nothing gets in. It's hard to nourish the spirit when we're armored. So one thing I want you really to think about, I believe that you're a record keeper. I believe that you store old records, not just of yourself, but for your mom and your family. I believe that a lot of the things that you've experienced, especially if you've had some sort of health issue, that you've internalized your emotion around that. And that, you know, I just want you just to be kind and gentle and loving with yourself, because I truly believe that you just absorb your experience in your body and being able to restore that. I'm going to draw a couple of cards for you. Just one sec. Here, this card is all about the empath. And so this is a sponge. She, like, no doubt that you absorb the emotion of other people. So one thing I want you definitely to do is I want you to step back, just so you create some space between you and whatever is in front of you, and just creating that space. I'm going to draw another card for you. This is the Roman baths. This is a very spiritual thing. So for you, water really definitely will help. Whether it's nice, beautiful, long soaks where you just let go of a lot of stuff. It's where you just allow yourself, just like when I went to the Roman baths, it was just so amazing, because I just literally just allowed myself just to let go of whatever I was holding on to. So for you, water would be a really healing. Here, this is another card for you. This is the gifted. So in a past life, just prior to your life, just prior to your death, I believe that you were anointed by the hand of God. So this lets me know that you bring this beautiful energy, that you are very kind to other people, that you are very loving, that you're inspiring, that you just envelop the people that you love, and that you have light coming all from your whole field. Like you draw attention, even though you may not even try to. Like people are drawn to you. This card, this lets me know in a past life you walked by the suffering and the people that were dying. And so no doubt, even in this life, being a PSW, I mean, I guarantee you've come into the same contract. And that's why I want you to create some space between you and the emotion of the people that you surround yourself with. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so great. Like, it's so good for you to be able to see that. Like, you just need to be able to create some boundaries that are very, very good. Here, this is another card from your past life, and this would be an outcast. So this definitely lets me know that you're very sensitive to any type of abandonment. No doubt you won't leave anybody behind, and you don't like feeling left behind. So these are the energies of a past life, walking with the suffering and the dying and being a guardian and being a loving energy, definitely being very inspiring and being very gifted and coming to this life with love and also being a bit of a sponge. And so I want you just to create space. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, it does.
And where you live, I mean, one thing that would be really beautiful, I know, Lloyd, one thing that would be really beautiful is finding someone who does like lymphatic massage, just to be able to let go of things, because I believe that you're coming into a very liberated space next year. And it's where you say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. It's going to be a shedding time for you. So I want you really to think about what you want to let go of in preparation for 2021. Okay, Lisa?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome, and thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you for texting in.
Yes, it was great reading.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lloyd, can we have a conversation about the bell?
Nope.
Okay. That makes that easy. That makes that real easy. Why do I feel like I need to sit up? I can't feel like I'm not comfortable. I have to move again. Thank you, my love.
Yeah, it's a school marm telling you to sit up straight.
Hello?
Hi, is this Jessica?
It is.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Yeah, it's Jessica.
Wow, like look at you. See this first letter? This is your cornerstone letter. And you see the J that looks like a little bit of a hook.
No.
And when people come into this life with a J, typically people know how to push your buttons. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And they push your buttons to get you to do what they want you to do. Like manipulate.
No.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. So what I want you to do, love, this is what I want you to do. I want you, and there's no judgment here. I just want you to be able to identify who has the power to be able to push your buttons, okay? So it could be your mother, it could be a friend, it could be a partner, it could be one of your children, anyone who, and it's not just coming out and it may not be communicated. It could just be like a sigh or that sort of thing, or or if somebody comes up and you just know they're sad but they're not willing to really communicate about that. And so I want you to identify who has the ability to push your buttons, and then I guarantee in the year 2021 that you get to renegotiate that. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Also, your soul essence letter, that's the E. This lets me know mind, body, spirit. So it lets me know that you're a person that really loves a fullness in your life. Like, you love, the people that you love, you really love. You're always questioning. You have a seeking kind of spirit, that you're curious about certain things. And that for you, everything that comes into your view or comes into your life has importance and meaning. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes. And then your capstone letter is that of an A, which really is about the bridge energy. So she's a peacekeeper. She's a very loving person, very flexible person. But I've got to say to you, do you see your double S's?
Yeah.
Those get you in trouble. They totally get you in trouble. I mean, think about it. It's the shapeshifter, which means no doubt that you are this wizard, that you can definitely make things happen. But it also lets me know that there's a part of you that definitely will feed anxiety, just because it's almost as if things are quiet. You don't quite know what to do with yourself. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, it's really interesting. Your birth year?
Is 1988.
Okay. And so for you, you understand that you have a mind that is very complicated and complex.
I think so.
And that you have a tendency to overanalyze things.
Yes.
And that you have this thing that goes back and forth, like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I?
Right.
And that is a pull. And so I believe most energetic pulls are created when, as a child, very young in your life, that your energy was divided. Like, do you understand that your mind often will go in two different directions? Right? And so if you can kind of go back to when you feel that you were divided. Now, it could be when there was conflict with the parents. It could be in a divorce. It could be where you experienced a trauma early in your life and it kind of divided your energy. And so I want you just to reflect, because there's no doubt in my mind that for you, so one thing I definitely would do is if you can open up your crown and just imagine like having a shower and washing away all the static. Like, it just feels like your mind just does not stop. Your month?
February.
Wow, you're a record keeper. And this lets me know you're an old soul, and in a past life, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have been persecuted and it would not be pretty. And so for you, you understand that there's a certain amount of your energy that is very focused on dread, that you feel that you need to be prepared, like 10 steps ahead.
Yes.
Right? And so for you, it's almost as if you just feel like there's something, you can almost feel something coming before it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your day?
14.
Wow. Great numbers. Really great numbers. Like, see, and this is no doubt that from a past life, I guarantee that you came to this life already wounded, that you had a wounding in a past life, in fact, where I believe you lost your partner in a very tragic way. And so for you, like, do you understand when you love, that the more you love, the more you feel anxious?
Yeah, 100%.
And that you just, like, people that you love or animals that you love, that you're just afraid that something's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so one thing I definitely would do if I were you is I believe that that's a residual emotion from a loss in a past life that you have not recovered from. And our soul, I believe, is so vast and so expansive, and it never dies, that sometimes our soul believes that what we're experiencing in the present is connected with the history of our past. So no doubt you'd be very sensitive to ever being dismissed, or you'd be very sensitive or feel insecure that someone is going to leave your life, or you may have a belief that the relationships are somewhat temporary. So you feel that sooner or later they're going to leave you. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
All my life.
Yeah, and you want to know something, like, it's just where you get to go back there, and because I guarantee you are just a beautiful soul, that your friends, if I were to ask them, they would tell me that you're so loving and you're so supportive and you're so there, and so you know that it can't be about that.
No.
Yeah, so that's where you know that it's past life. 2018 would be a big year for you.
I don't know.
And that would also be connected to 2009 and 2000 and 1991. So you would have been 3.
Okay.
3 years old, 12 years old, 21 years old, and 30. I just feel like we need to go to your mother. Your mother's birth year?
Say that again?
Your mother's birth year?
64.
And the month?
January.
And the day?
7.
And so, like, you understand that you have a soul contract with your mom. And that you came to this life believing that you were an anchor. And that there's times where you go, like, I'm not really sure who's the mother and who's the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no doubt. Like, I mean, it's just interesting, right? So even there, it's where you would feel that you are responsible, that you're an anchor. And so as a result of that, there's a part of you that draws people to you that are in crisis, because then it feels like you are there to help them, and then you feel that somehow it fills your life, then you feel worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say, I guarantee you that again is just connected with the past life loss that you've never recovered from, because I guarantee that even you don't have to save everybody, or you don't have to have all of this energy around you to make you feel alive and important, that there's no doubt in my mind that you could do nothing. Literally sit there with somebody and they would just feel the energy that you have. Like, does that make sense? Yeah.
I get told that a lot.
I know, and so, you know, it's like, it's just really interesting for you. And so, do you know what was going on with your mother when she was pregnant with you? Had she suffered a loss in her life prior to, yes? Was it around the time that she had you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so you know. So here you have your own from a past life, you have loss. Then you come into the body of a female that has experienced loss. And so do you see how you would have absorbed all of that?
Yeah.
Good. And do you see how then you would learn that the absorption of other people's problems or their emotion or their pain or their suffering would make you feel like you need to take it from them?
Yeah.
And I'm here to say that's number one, that I would renegotiate and just say, no, I don't need to do that. Because let me say this to you. Whether you absorb what's going on with them or not, it does not change the outcome. Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so it's almost as if, but it's almost like it's a contract for you. So, I mean, coming into, especially because you're like a little sponge. So you would have absorbed the loss of your mom and then come forward with a loss from a past life. So you just don't like to watch anyone suffer. Like, no one, not a dog, not a person, nobody. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like, I can feel it. It's like for you, it's like you literally feel the energy. Let me draw some cards for you. This is the first card, and this is all about trust. This is trusting the process, trusting yourself, trust and being able to open yourself up to receive. It's also a card about kindness. And yeah, but it's also just knowing that you're safe. I'm going to draw another card for you. This is an orphan, so no doubt, I guarantee you in a past life that something happened where you experienced a loss and that you lost either a parent or a partner. And so there's a part of you, and even now, that feels the emptiness of that loss. And that's why it would be so good for you to go to that lifetime and see. Like, I just feel like that you came here feeling like an orphan. And so there's times where you just have this fear that people are going to leave your life. This card is that where no doubt this is the card of the sinner. So no doubt, like perhaps the person that left you, perhaps you felt that you had done something wrong and that's why they left. So in this life, how that would sort of reflect is that you just try to do so much and you take on so much to try and heal that feeling that in some past life that you had done something that you feel guilty about. I'm going to draw you another card. And for you, this is all about past life. So I just want you to consider whatever your fears are, whatever your insecurities are, that they are just amplified because like your past life experience, for me, at least for this reading tonight, is just screaming at me. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I just had another person tell me about my past life stuff.
Yeah, and so like for you, what's really neat is being able to go back and being able to heal that, which would be really great. Here's your last card. This lets me know that you're very torn, that there is, that you're walking in two worlds and that your mind becomes very conflicted. So one thing I want you to do is I want you just to imagine just trying to calm down your mind. I believe that you have this brilliant mind, but that it almost is ahead of your life, so that you're always trying to catch up to your thoughts. And so one thing I definitely would do is just, I would get 2 stones, like 2 pyrite in your hands, or I'd get 2 heavy, something like that would just kind of anchor that. And and when you catch yourself in that spin, I want you just to say, no, I don't want to do this anymore, because it just feels like a pull. You're pulled between 2 forces all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yes, it helps me a lot.
Yeah, and so, I want you, I want you just to think about it, but there's no doubt in my mind you experienced a loss in a past life that your soul has not recovered from. So I want you just to go there and just to see, does it feel like a partner? Does it feel like a parent? If so, is it the mother? Is it the father? Is it a child? But at least just so you know, like I have you for 15 minutes, but at least it kind of brings you into a space where you can kind of consider that. Any losses that you've had in this lifetime, you can draw a cord to all of them. So the very first loss that you ever experienced, you would experience it again in any present loss as well as the past life one. So yeah.
Oh.
Just so you know. Okay, Jessica? Yes, Lloyd. Lloyd's bringing that back. Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you so much for texting in, and keep us posted. Like, I just feel like you're going to be coming into a really beautiful time where you're just going to grow. And I want you to let go of all of this need to try and fill everything, okay?
I will work really hard on that.
That's great. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thank you. You have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye, love.
Okay. Bye.
She's so sweet. Oh my God. I could just feel it. I could just feel it. Even though you were dinging the... Bring it to me.
Is that why you had to sit up straight?
I know. I keep on moving around. I don't know why. I'm moving around. Okay, Pammy. That's cute, Pammy. Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
Here you go. Sweetie.
Hello.
Hello, is this Pam?
Hi.
Hi, Pam. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I know exactly who this is. I want you to know that I miss you.
Aw, thanks. I'm gonna put you on speaker, okay?
Okay, sure.
There we go.
Okay, can you spell your first name for me? Okay.
Ela.
Okay. And so if you look at your first letter, and this is the cornerstone letter, there's a little stick and then there's this little loop. And you see how for you that really is protection. So anything emotional for you, do you see how with that P as your first letter in your name, that you kind of protect it, that you hold it all up in your chest and all up in the throat area?
Yeah.
And that, like, in other words, like you literally could be dying and no one would know because you could hold it there.
Yeah.
And that, like, you can hold it there and it just stays right there. Your soul essence letter is that of the bridge. And so this really is a person that doesn't like conflict, doesn't like confrontation, often will try to heal if there's any type of confrontation or conflict going on between people, that often you feel kind of in the middle. And then if you look right smack in the middle of your name is an M. So if you look at the energy of an M, it goes down and up and down and up and down and up. So this lets me know that there's a part of you that has a tendency to feed anxiety. So if you're not worried about one of your children, you might be worried about your job. If you're not worried about your job, you might be worried about something going on in the world. So for you, there's a vibration and it feels like it's right in the middle of your core of your being. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And what I would do if I were you? I would go to it because it feels old. It feels like this vibration. Like, you tell me when you haven't had that.
I don't know when.
Yeah. And so, and for you, like, there's no doubt that you would feel it. So the next time you feel it, and it will speak to you, I want you just to go to it. And I want you just to stand in it. And I want you to put all of your power right to it. And I want you just to stay there until it goes completely calm and just absolutely calm. Your capstone letter is an A. And so no doubt that you're connected with the angelic realm. So this lets me know that you have communication with angels, that you have communication with guardians, that perhaps there's someone that has passed away that walks beside you and that you speak to them, or that you know who this guardian is. And so just so you know, you have never taken one step on this earth alone. Your birth year?
61.
And this, again, is the energy of the justice. And so this is the advocate. And so no doubt in my mind, peacekeeper, balance for you is huge. No doubt when you are kind of triggered into a state of anxiety, that it's hard for you to shut off your mind, that it just kind of loops and loops. And so just so you know, this really is like, for you, what I would definitely do is just go to that space, because I do believe your mind feeds your heart and your heart feeds your tummy. And I mean, have you ever done cord work?
No.
Like the severing of cords. Like, does that make sense to you? That your mind is fed by your heart and fed by your tummy?
Yes, actually, I did have some cords released by a couple of people.
Okay, so all I know is that for you, it almost feels like your mind is activated. So when you catch yourself triggered and your mind is activated, I want you just to go to your mind and look at that cord, and I want you to cut it from the heart and then from the heart to the tummy, because I truly believe that it's rooted in a past life. So often what happens, this is what I've learned, is if we have cord work done and it's for the present experience, that often if the symptoms still don't go away, then you know that you have to work underneath it. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's what happened to me. Like, I had a lot of different work, and yet I still had a lot of the same symptoms. And that's when I knew, and this was years ago, I knew that I was working, because I'm an old soul, that I was working in a past life, and that I may have been relieved in the present, but the past was still surfacing. Your month?
March.
Yeah. So this is the Empress. And so
I know.
can we do your mother's birth year?
Okay. My mother's birth year, she was 18 when she gave birth to me.
She was 18 when she gave birth to you. Okay.
And she was born in June. I just don't remember her.
So that would be 1943.
Okay.
And okay, but you don't know June, but you don't know the day?
June 28th.
Okay, that's okay.
So she was 18.
Yeah. So that would be you would have, like, do you know what was going on with your mom, Pam, when your mom had you?
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, that's where you need to cut that, like, and it's almost as even before you were conceived.
Right.
Yeah, like this is even before you were conceived. This is how old this is. And it feels like not only does it connect with your mother, but her mother.
Yeah.
And so just so you know, when my grandmother was pregnant with my mother, like I was there, my sisters were there, my daughter was there, my granddaughter was there. So for you, it almost feels like a legacy of females. So if you were to look at your grandmother and then your mother and then you, then you'd be able to see that you've absorbed that legacy as well.
I got it.
Yeah, okay. Your
Yeah.
day? Your day of birth?
28.
Your day?
28.
Wow, you shared the same day as your mom?
Yes.
Wow. Then you know for sure. Then you absolutely know for sure. Because, I mean, there's no doubt. And I know 10, 9, 20, 20. And so, yeah, so if you were to look at her loss, and what's really amazing is I guarantee that when she was carrying you, that she could not, like, she was very distracted. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
And that she had a lot going on with her emotionally, and she was kind of out of her body.
Oh, yeah.
And so do you see how that would have a huge impact, not just for someone like yourself, but for anybody, if their mother is going through something. And so do you see how that hooks up with your anxiety?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Good. So then, you know what I would do if I were you, which would be very cool, is it's almost where you do a ritual ceremony, and it's where you, like, we have these little white ritual candles in the store, and you anoint them, but you anoint them up, and it's where, as you have a bath or you have a soak or you do something really beautiful and nourishing, it's like, I honor that, but I'm going to just let that go, because I guarantee that because you have the 8 inside of you, that you tried to help restore her, and there's no, and it was beyond your power. Like, you just did not have the power to do that, and so there's a part of you that just doesn't know how to find the balance in that, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's really, really, I mean, like, you and I have talked many times, like, I just know that you're just this amazing, there's no doubt in my mind that you're an absolute amazing reader, and that you've come to be in this world to be supportive. You're a teacher, you're a mentor, that, you know, you just create balance, you're an advocate. And so that's why, if you can just go back and just imagine what it was like developing inside the body of an anxious female that just was not in her body. Like, that's why when you get triggered, there's a part of you that just feels like you need to anchor to the earth, like you just hang on. And I guarantee if you were to resolve that, it would help you.
Yes, I'm working on that.
Yeah, that's great. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh wow, you're in a restorative year. So this means you're right on the cusp of a spiritual breakthrough. And so for you, next year, 2021, it's going to come full circle. So here are your 9 years. Just one sec. So 2012, what was going on with you? That would be a big year.
I don't know.
Okay, 2003, just so you know, these are your dates.
Okay, 3 and 12. What? Okay, I don't know exactly.
Okay, 1994, I'm going to come back.
My daughter was born.
Yeah. Okay, and your daughter's name
Mackenzie
and her birth year
is 94.
and the month
01.
and the day.
07. 06.
06?
Right, 06.
Okay,
I'm bad with numbers. I'm a business lesson.
that's okay. And see, you want to know something that's so neat? This is what is amazing, because there's no doubt in my mind that your legacy with your mother would have been a challenging one.
Yeah.
And what's really neat is you brought, this is your firstborn.
Yeah.
Here you just said, please, 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 please. And you brought to this earth a child that reflects your own energy. And there's no doubt in my mind. So tell me, what was going on with you when you were pregnant with your daughter?
Wow. I just have to say you are so spot on. I can only say spot because the word I wanted to use was an F word.
Yeah.
And my God, 333. It's just crazy. This is so right on.
Yeah, because you want to know something, love? In 1994, you were in a 9-year, which means she was the answer to your prayer. Whatever you did not receive, I guarantee you gave it to Mackenzie. Whatever you just restored. And like, I guarantee you two have walked side by side for many lives. And she helped restore the emotion that is connected with a female. Like, do you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
And
Here.
and I guarantee you that she also possesses your same gifts, and that she's like a mirror. She's no doubt in my mind, she's a mirror. I want to just see what vibration your daughter is in this year. Just one sec. And this year, your daughter, so hang on. I'm just looking. So was something going on with your daughter in 2018?
2018.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be 2 years ago.
well, 2 years ago, you got engaged.
Yeah. And just think about that. She got engaged. And so for you, that would be huge.
In what way?
Just in the sense that I guarantee, like, let me put it to you this way. When she first arrived in your life, she was your absolute world. Like, no doubt in my mind. And then in 2020, she got engaged. So, like, for you, there'd be a happiness, but there'd also be, like, this weird kind of loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And, like, I pray for the guy that, she's engaged to. Like, he better be flipping, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you're just not going to hand your daughter off to anybody.
You're right on that point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way in this world. So, I mean, it's just really interesting. All I can tell you is this, is that, you've done well. Whatever you didn't receive as a mother and from your mother, that you gave that to your daughter. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It's
Thank you.
it's so huge. Hang on, I'm going to draw some cards for you.
Okay.
But that's neat. And so one thing I want you to do, I want you to do a ritual. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm going to look. I'm going to get some cards for you. I feel under the gun because Lloyd's in that bell.
I know.
This-
He's a real...
I know, but I'm so grateful to him. So this really speaks about your identity. So in a past life, there's no doubt in my mind, like this card for me, and it has nothing to do with your gender. It has everything to do with your questioning of yourself and being able to see who you are and all of that. And for you, there's no doubt in my mind that there'd be a part of you that had a difficult time connecting with who you were, that you put everybody else first. And so that real connection of your identity, like who you are, what you love, what's important to you, like I guarantee for you, you would draw other people in to kind of distract you from your own sense of identity. And so there's no doubt in my mind that for you, it's hard to kind of look at your own stuff, like because you become very distracted by other people's stuff. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm a pro.
And you see how, if you can restore that, you can restore your mother, because you see how it reflects exactly the energy that you came into this life with.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think that's the coolest thing ever?
You know what? This quick reading has been more clarifying than a lot of our conversations, and I am just amazed and blessed and grateful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And here, I got another card for you. No doubt in my mind that fire, and you were either burned at a stake or there would have been some sort of loss with fire in a past life. So there may be some connection with that in this life, or threat of persecution. Just a sec. Yes, Lloyd. This is DNA. So this really speaks about your bones and your history and being able just to come to peace with it. It also speaks about putting things to rest. Like for you, it's like there's no doubt there's a part of you that conjures things up and sort of stirs up the dead. And so this is really about just letting things, putting things to rest and having closure so you can focus on you and your gifts and what you've come to bring. This also is all about you connecting with the earth and just being productive, a cultivator. No doubt in my mind that for you, it's like being productive and keeping your hands busy and feeding people. I mean, this really is the card of the farmer and nourishment and all that. This one here, no doubt, this is where just often you feel that you're over your head in terms of emotion. So when you get upset, that your emotions just surface, especially because you love so deeply. And so this really is balancing it out. This also can be, in fact, the mother's energy, because I do believe when she was carrying you, even prior to your conception, that she, in fact, was overwhelmed. And so it's really being able to restore that, not just for yourself, but on behalf of your mom. Good, Pam?
Lovely. Thank you. I love you.
I love you. You take good care and do the ritual. It's so awesome. Okay, love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lloyd Stephen. Lloyd Stephen.
You're running over.
I know, but... Okay. Pass me the book, sweet, sweet. Thank you, my darling. I love how you wrote Pammy. I love that. I'm feeling the pressure tonight, Lloyd.
Uh-oh.
Okay. But I don't mind. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Can you spell your name for me?
Yep. Tara. Tara.
Wow. So you understand that you're a humanitarian,
Yes.
and that you understand that you're a perfectionist humanitarian.
Oh, yes.
I mean, look at your first letter, right? T. It's like no doubt that you're hard on yourself, that there's no doubt that there's a part of you that often questions, you know, if you're doing it right. Like you'll check things like 3 times just to make sure. There's a part of you that's afraid to fail or look bad or not, you know what I'm saying? Like you just double check everything, right? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm here to say, quit it. I don't want you to doubt yourself anymore. Just say, screw it. I'm just doing it. It's going to be enough. It's going to be good. And so it's really no doubt in my mind there's a part of you, and it does feel old, that you just feel like you have to check everything, that you withhold because you may not be understood, or you may seem kind of silly, or you may, be perceived as, and so you hesitate.
Yes.
And you understand, like, you see that with the T, I'm telling you, you are an absolute leader. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yep.
And you see how you can't be one or the other. Like,
No,
if you were a leader, then you have to be a leader. Like, would you agree?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
not only are you a leader, but you're also a bridge, because look at your 2 A's, bam, bam, right there, right in between. And so this lets me know that not only are you a leader, but you're a leader that inspires faith. You're a leader that inspires empathy and compassion, and that you definitely are a person that just sees the good in everyone. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes, no doubt in my mind. I
Yeah.
mean, like, there's only 4 letters to your name, but it is a letter, it is the name of an absolute leader. So I don't want you to hesitate. It's like me. Like, I mean, I know that some things that come to me, like, messages and stuff, that some people, if I hesitated, I don't think I would be doing the work I'm doing now. I had to just surrender and trust that whatever it is that I bring forward with integrity, and that I believe it, and that my intention is pure. Like, do you hear me?
I do.
Good.
I do, actually.
Your birth year?
1973.
Yeah, see this? You want to know something? I just love you. Honest to God, you understand that you're a record keeper.
I am.
And that means that for you, that you are 10 steps ahead of any given situation.
Yes.
And that there's a part of you that prepares, that believes you have to prepare.
Always, yeah.
And so let me ask you something. What are you preparing for?
I have no idea.
Don't you love that? Isn't that a great question?
I have no idea.
Like, think about it. Like, what are you preparing for?
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I think I've struggled a lot with why I am like that.
Yeah, and I guarantee, even as a little girl, even as a little tiny girl, like, there would be, and I guarantee that you experienced a persecution in your past life. And I guarantee you that in that persecution, that you were judged, that you lost all your possessions, that you were absolutely shamed, and that there was a part of you that stepped out of your power, and there was a part of you that stopped believing in the goodness of people. And so, like, just so you know, I want you just to have a conversation with that, and just say, no, I'm not going to prepare. I'm not. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. But I guarantee that your soul has the imprint of what happened to you. So it's almost as if the soul feels that it needs to prepare you or warn you.
Right, and that's exactly what you said about the past life is what I feel in the
Yeah.
current life.
Yeah, and I'm here to tell you, it's like, it's so alive in you. Like, it is so alive in you. And I'm just here to say that I want you to say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And I mean, for you, because you understand that you wouldn't harm a soul.
That's right.
Like, you wouldn't harm a soul, or you wouldn't do anything. Like me, I've broken the law, right? Like, I've broken the law. With you? Are you kidding
I
me?
feel horrible.
I
feel
know.
horrible if I do something. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
like, I mean, broken the law by, like, I've been out of control, like, I mean, like, I've broken my own laws, right?
Right.
So yeah, your birth month?
July 07.
Yeah, and see, like, that's what's really interesting, is there's no doubt that you're a very complicated, beautiful female, because not only do you feel that you need to kind of prepare, but that there's a part of you that feels that you have to be on the defense. And I guarantee in a past life, you because of what happened to you, like, you just armored yourself. So trust for you is a big thing. Betrayal for you is a big thing. There's a caution inside of you. You believe that people have to prove that you can trust them. And I guarantee all of these anxieties, all of these fears are like absolute kind of like a residual of a past life where you were betrayed. And I do believe that you were betrayed by people that you trusted. And that for you, if you've had any of that experience in this lifetime, that it would just have devastated you. Like, big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your day?
18.
Yeah. See, I love that, eh? 7, 8, 9. See
Figuring out
that?
lucky number 9.
Yeah, but you want to know something? You're a double 9. So you have a double 9, you have a 2 in you, and you have a 7 in you. So like I guarantee you that you're very, very sensitive to shame, that there's a part of you that has come into this life orphaned because of what happened in a persecution in a past life. I guarantee you have few friends, and I guarantee that you probably don't even have one person that you fully trust.
No, you're correct.
And that there's no doubt in my mind that for you, but it limits you. Like, see, this is what's very cool, is like people say all the time that I can't trust certain people. And it's like, yeah, you can, as long as you know who you are. If you know who you are, then you can trust anybody, because no one can take anything from me, because I know what is important to me. I know the type of relationships that I want. I know what my priorities are. You know, I'm not, you know, like, did I have that when I was 20? No. Did I have it when I was 30? Probably not. Did I have it when I was 40? Probably not. But now I know what's important to me. I absolutely know who I am. I know what I need and all of that stuff. So no doubt in my mind that you have come to this life quite wounded. Hang on. Wow, this is a big year for you. What happened to you in 2018?
I already wrote 2018 down. Is that not weird?
Yeah, 2018, just so you
Yeah.
know. That's connected to 2009, 2000,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
1991,
Uh-huh.
1982,
Okay.
1973. So do you know what was going on with your mother when she was pregnant with you?
I know that like my mother struggled with her own issues with my father.
Yeah.
And I think it was because my sister and I are 15 months apart, and it was just after she got pregnant with my sister, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, like it's just amazing. Like, you just being the firstborn. I mean, think about it. Like, think about it. How old were you when your mother was diagnosed, love?
I was 15 months old, less than.
Yeah. But see,
Yeah.
but when you knew, like, I mean, I know that your soul knew then, but
I
like,
didn't find out actually until I was probably in my late teens.
yeah. And
It
so,
was in my late teens.
and see, what's really interesting is when you look at 15 months, that's 6. So 6 is all about emotion. And like, it's just really wild, because I truly believe our soul has memory. And so remember when I said to you that there was a trauma that happened, and that you have to prepare? I guarantee that you would have known it even then. And so it's just amazing to be able to calm all of that down and being able to appreciate that. And you were the firstborn?
No, well, to my mother, I guess I would have been the third child.
Okay. And so what does that mean? Like, when you say it that way?
So my mother had a child, I believe in 67,
Okay.
that was given up for adoption. And then there's my older sister, then there's me, and then there's my younger sister.
Yeah, and I'm here to say to you, think about it. Think about any woman. Don't even think about it for you. Any female who gets pregnant and gives up a child, do you see how that legacy would be passed on to you?
Yep.
And do you see how, even though you weren't even born at that time, but do you see how you would try and compensate, because there would be a part of you that felt responsible, or you would have taken that on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so all I know is this year for you is where you get to go to those records, and you get to be able to clear all of that, not just for yourself, but for your mom as well. I mean, it's one of those really amazing things Like, I mean, my history with my mother is very similar, and the only difference is my reaction to it and her reaction to it very different. But
That's right.
you know, and so like, there's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to draw some cards for you. But isn't that cool? And like for you, like 90% of what's going on with you, I guarantee, is connected not to your experience, but to your mother's experience as well as a past life.
Yeah,
So
it
that's
is
why
crazy.
it is. Don't you think it's the coolest thing ever?
It's fascinating to me how all of this works. I've always been very interested. I'm skeptical, but not.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's one of these things, like, you know, like, I mean, this is what I've learned in my own recovery is this is what I've learned is that the truth sets you free. The truth sets you free when it makes sense and you go, wow, is that why I'm so anxious? And I've got nothing to be anxious about, right?
I think it's my fear of hurting other people.
Yeah, and I'm here to say
where
to you,
that-
I believe that it's connected with a past life. I believe it's connected with the persecution. I believe your hesitation is connected with the persecution. I also believe that it's all connected with your mom and her legacy, but you just absorb it all. You blame yourself. And I'm just here to say that it's just, you know, like, I guarantee that you came in anxious. Here is your first card, and this is the energy of the hook. So this lets me know, no doubt in my mind, when you came to this life, you were already on the hook. You were already kind of in that space where you felt responsible, just so you know. Here's the next card, and this is where you just hang on. So this lets me know you have a hard time letting go of anything. Like, and I mean anything.
Anything. You are 100% correct.
This is the intuitive, so no doubt in my mind that you're a very gifted person, that you're a very gifted, you could almost do mediumship work, that not only do you get messages, but that you feel certain energy and all of that stuff, for sure.
I do, actually. I feel it physically.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt, but that's because you're a record keeper, right?
Yes.
This is a spiritual breakthrough, so this lets me know that there's no doubt in my mind that you definitely have come through a spiritual breakthrough, a realization that's going to definitely free you.
Okay.
Here's another card for you. This is the card of the mule. So this lets me know that you're carrying stuff that just doesn't belong to you. So I want you really to look at that and really appreciate it, because this is the year for you to offload, because next year you're coming into a year of cultivation. You're coming into a year of growth and the seed. So you have to let go of stuff to make room.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. Did you enjoy your reading?
I did. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not bad for 15 minutes, eh?
Not bad. No, not
More
at
like
all.
20.
Not at
So,
all.
so you take good care and keep me posted. You can always call back or text back.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Bye, love.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See that? I love. She's a sister from another mister.
And
Okay.
mother.
You just got to give me 2 seconds. I just got to shuffle up the cards. How am I doing, Lloyd? I'm not doing that bad.
Falling behind.
Huh. That's implying that there's some sense of time
Yes,
when there isn't really.
there is.
Okay.
There is in my world.
Okay, one more shake, hon. Come on. Don't give me a hard time. Pass it over, please. Thank you very much. Okay. So I just did that, okay? I was thinking about Christmas presents.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can hardly wait. You always come up with the good ones, hon.
What'd you get me?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. This is Lindsay. Can you spell your name for me?
Yes, I can. It's Joanne.
Uh-oh. see your double ends?
Yeah.
See that? Right in a row, up and down and up and down and up and down. So this definitely lets me know that there's a lot of energy around you, like there's a lot of vibration around you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that for you, there's a part of you that feels more comfortable, just a little bit anxious.
Comfortable, not sure anxious, but.
It would be like, it'd be where, you know, there's always, if you're not worried about this, you're thinking about this. If you're not thinking about this, there's always movement around you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time. And for you, there's always another question. Like you're a very curious person.
Yeah.
And that you sort of analyze in the relationships that you have, there's a certain intimacy that you want. Like you want to know the people in your life.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's huge. Your birth year?
1959.
Okay. And your month?
February
And your day?
13.
Okay. And so if I were to attend to me, so if I were to ask you, I'm going right, you have both the mother and the father aspect in your numbers. So this lets me know that typically when you have both the 3 and the 4 in your aspects, that there definitely is a legacy with the parents. So if you were to look at their ancestry or their history, both with the mother and the father, that you would absorb that.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So there'd be a responsibility, like you would take it on as a responsibility. In other words, you could look at your mom and know if she was okay or if she wasn't okay, that you could literally feel the environment as a child in your home.
Oh, yes.
And that
Okay.
for you, you were like the watchdog. Like you could feel whenever there was trouble or any of that, like you would feel it.
Yes.
And so as a result of that, what would you do when you'd feel it? Like what would you do with that?
I would wait for something to happen and intervene.
Yeah. And so don't you think that's wild? Like here's this beautiful little girl, so intuitive, so sensitive, highly aware all the time, and like a watchdog. And so like, and let's be honest, the difficulty was that it wasn't all the time. Like, do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so for you, that's what I was kind of talking to you about with your name. It's like when you look at the double N's, and here's the cool thing. Your cornerstone letter, the first letter in your name, do you see it's a J? That means that you came to this life with a responsibility, and there was no doubt, just feeling your energy, I knew that you'd have the mother in your aspects as well as the father. So you felt a deep sense of responsibility of what went on in your home as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm here to say to you that no one let you off the hook. And so do you see how you bring, like, even as we're talking about it, can you feel it as we're talking about it in your body?
Yes, I can.
Don't you think that's the coolest thing ever, Joanne? It is still there. It is still there. And what's really cool is you have an opportunity to say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I like, you tell me a day in your life where you didn't feel it.
I can.
Yeah. And so, and like, trust me, like I can guarantee that the people that you love, that they just absolutely feel loved and respected and guarded and appreciated and all of that stuff. And there's no doubt in my mind that you do things for people like all the time, almost too much.
That's very true. I
Right?
feel that all the time.
And there's no doubt in my mind that there's a part of you that just doesn't like, I mean, it's hard for you to get help, like to ask for help.
Yes.
And that you just do it all on your own.
Yep.
Yeah, and like One thing I would definitely do if I were you, I would say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to ask for help. I am going to receive, because like you understand, when there is trouble in a home between the mother and the father, all of the energy of the family, I believe, goes to the problem. And so then what happens is the children just tread water. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, for you, there's no doubt in my mind that even as a young girl, that you at least would be on the list, on your own list, you would come in probably about 3 or 4. Would you agree?
Yeah, probably about there.
Yeah, because there'd be your mother, then there'd be your father, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, at least number 3, never mind. And I guarantee, even in this time, it's the same. And so, what I want you to do, I want you to do something, and it's going to be really deeply uncomfortable for you, but I want you to do something for yourself. I want you just to say, no, I'm just doing this for me. I want you to carve out some lines and just say, no, I'm doing it for me. Like, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
2019, that would be a big year.
Yep.
2010 would be connected. There are your lessons from 2010 to 2019. There are 9 spiritual lessons that you learned about yourself and what you need. And just so you know, this year, being 2020, has been an absolute year of you just questioning everything. Like who you are, who loves you, who doesn't love you, what you want to do with your life, what you no longer want to do with your life. And that would have come in a realization in 2019 that would have just like made you reconsider a lot that's going on around you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so great. And guess what? You get to shed. It's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2010 would be connected to 2001.
Okay. I know 2010, I'm not positive about one right now.
Okay. 1992 and 1983.
That's when so 83, my son was born.
Okay, and your son's name?
Ross, R-O-S-S.
And birth year is 1983, the month?
January
And the day.
16.
See that? That just makes you understand that you walked a past life. Like he is an anchor. He gave you purpose. Like, does that make sense to you?
Well, he's the only son. I have daughters as well, but
Right.
I can see that being the only son. Yeah.
Yes, and like think about your relationship with your father.
Yes.
Do you see how the love that you share with your son has helped restore that?
Restore the love with my father?
Yes.
No, I don't think it ever had to be restored. I've always had a great bond with my dad.
But what I'm saying to you is this, there is no doubt in my mind, like think about it. Here's your mom, here's your dad, and there was conflict between the two of them, and there was that kind of energy. And so like there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, we may blame one parent and the other sort of thing, and there's no doubt, because I guarantee that with your son that you've shared a past life with him, and that in the year 1983 when you had your son, I'm just going to see if you have a contract.
Okay.
I guarantee he restored something for you.
Okay.
And I mean, there's no doubt that and I'm not saying that, you know, I guarantee that there is a very deep, old connection between the two of you. Like one thing's for sure, I guarantee that, you know, like he's his own person. And I guarantee he would have challenged you in a lot of ways because he'd do his own thing. Like he likes, you know, a very independent sort of person. And so, and for you, like, you know, in other words, he wouldn't like you latching on to him. I'm telling you straight up. There's no way in this world.
Very true.
1978. See, I just love that, right?
Yeah.
1969, so when you were 10. And then 1960.
So,
You would
60,
just,
my brother was born, and we're very, very close.
yes, okay. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. And your brother's name?
Doug,
Okay. And birth year? 1960?
60, yeah. And
And-
this is February 15th.
Okay. See, like, that's what's just, he's kind of an opposite to your son.
Oh, yes.
Like, complete opposite, which I just think is really interesting. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just interesting because complete opposite. And there's no doubt in my mind that you believed in your heart that you had to protect your brother.
Yes.
And do you see how your son Ross wouldn't have anything to do with that?
Yeah.
He can take care of himself. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you learned, no doubt, and think about it. Here's this little girl that has this stuff going on in her home where she feels responsible and that she has to intervene and that she also is responsible for her younger brother.
Yes.
That's right. And just so you know, that involves the mother and the father. And so there's no doubt in my mind that for you, this is the year where you get to create a balance in all of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's really interesting because I used to always think it was my dad. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's not about loving our parents because we love our parents, right?
Right.
It's
yeah.
just that stuff that went on in our home. Like, I always blame my dad. But it hasn't just been since this last few months that I'm going, oh my God, it was my mom too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
yeah.
hard for me because I'm, you know, like, I mean, I just believed, like, I'll give you an example. Like, my father used to get cranky with us and he'd stop talking. Well, the other day when I was visiting my mom, she got mad at me and she stopped talking. I went, oh my God, you did it too. Like, both of you did. So all I know is it's just really interesting. Your reading for tonight is about your father, your brother, and your son, and being able to see how those relationships have impacted you as a person, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm going to draw some cards for you. Here's the first card. And so this definitely is a hook. So this is where, you know, and I do believe that you came into this life responsible even prior. And there's no doubt in my mind that you just would feel the burden of that. Or, like, let me put it to you this way. Like, no one told you to be the watchdog. Like, your soul already knew that that's what you needed to be. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And so there's no doubt in my mind that that responsibility definitely is old. Here's your next card, and this is about the worker. So this lets me know that you're a very productive person, that you like to be busy, that you're creative, that you're an artist, that you love to see things kind of develop under your careful intention, and that just really being able to take, you know, be creative and all that sort of stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In a past life, no doubt, I guarantee that there was a part of you that would have been liberated from some sort of bondage, and that you would have fought for that. And so, like, you know, and it's just so interesting to me because whenever this card surfaces, it's always about a person's kind of struggle to be freed from something. And so, and then I think it's just so interesting that then you come back into another life where even before you're old enough to realize that you again are kind of in a place where you feel responsible. Here's your next card. And so this really speaks about dread. And so this is just the watchdog, like just waiting for something to happen, preparing, like just peering out and making sure that everything's okay. And just that fear. I mean, if you think about, you know, when and those times where you were listening to see if there was going to be a conflict, like
Right.
that's quite a very powerful type of energy. Like, would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This definitely is a scream. So this lets me know that for you, it's kind of like this, like frustration, and this could be like even from a past life where you felt even frustrated then. And so this really is a scream where a person feels that they don't have any power. So this is, you know, like perhaps one of your children or whatever, if you're trying to, you know, even as a little girl, like you didn't have the power to fix everything, although it felt like you had to. And this is your last card. This is the card of the hero. So it lets me know that you're resilient. It lets me know that you're stubborn. It lets me know that you've overcome great obstacles, that you like a challenge, that you like to, you know, it's like there's no doubt in my mind that you're a very spirited person. And if somebody says you can't do that, you'll look them right in the eye and say, you just watch me. So, I mean, even though those kinds of things happen to us very young, there's no doubt in my mind that there's some medicine that comes from it, and there's some struggle and challenges that come from that. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Yeah.
And so one thing I want you to do is I want you just to, it's like, it's almost because you're so intuitive, like your body even gives you messages. So it's like, how do you stop your body from responding to something that, you know, was contracted like 60 years ago?
Right.
And so it's like really being able to look and go back to that. Like it's almost as if, like at this time, and I commit my work to what people do when they're triggered. And I guarantee if anything kind of bugs you in the present, it's almost as though you go back to the very same energetic posture as when you were just a little girl. And this is a year where you get to really shed that. Next year is where you get to make peace with some of those, because it's almost like saying to your soul, you know what, like I understand, but like I'm not 5 anymore. I'm not 6 anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I mean, like with you, hot stone, you'd love it. Hot stone massage.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's one thing that you can't help but receive, like the heat and the stones, and you just lie there and you just absorb, and it's really about nourishing your soul.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like you just love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your reading?
I did. Thank you very much. That was great.
You're most welcome. So I want you just to kind of think about what you want to let go of, because there's no doubt in my mind, amazing mom, amazing daughter, no doubt in my mind. So it's like just being able to let all that go.
Thank you. Yes, I will certainly do that.
Okay, thank you, Joanne.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye. Hun, I can feel the heaviness. Is there something you need to say to me?
I already said it.
I love that. Don't you think that's kind of cute? Okay, Babs. Okay. All right. I'm losing my sweater. Listen to our little dog. He's going, come on. I told him I'd do reading on him later. Here you go, my sweet. Here's to you, Babs.
Cheers.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. This is Lindsay. Could you spell your name for me?
Yep, Victoria.
Don't you love that? See this? Like you're like this channeler. You bring everything from the universe down into your body. Like everything. Like you'd be this charismatic energy that just draws everything to you. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Like, I mean, if I were you, honestly, this is what I say to my sister, because she has her first name and her letter is V. I say to her, you should stand naked in front of the moon and just draw all of that goddess energy right to you. Same with you. I mean, like, and this is what I really love is you have two eyes. So this lets me know not only do you channel things, you also implement them. So it's not like you're this person that doesn't draw things to them and then puts it aside. Like, does that make sense to you?
That does, yes.
Like, I mean, it's like you implement whatever it is. And see, this is what's really neat. So you draw things in from the universe and you also draw things to you. So you're quite charismatic.
Yep.
Yeah. And so are you aware of what type of energy you draw?
No, not fully.
Okay, this is a great thing for you. Just check the people that are around you. See what kind of people they are. Because what you're drawing to you is the energy you put out, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Your birth year?
85.
Okay. And so this lets me know, like, you understand, like, there's a priest inside of you.
Yeah.
And a person that is highly moral.
Yep.
And a person that definitely has strong beliefs. Yeah, like I guarantee, like certain things that you believe in, and I mean, there's no doubt a sensitivity, highly empathic, sensitive to people suffering. Like, you cannot watch anything suffer.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
nothing. Like, you can't watch stuff on television where it's kind of like somebody is being, you know, brutalized or whatever, or animals being brutalized. Like, there's no way in this world that you can stand for that. And even
Yeah.
a dead bird on the ground, you're highly sensitive to.
Yep.
And if somebody is crying in front of you, you try to take away their grief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, and part of it is because you believe that their grief in some way harms them.
Yes.
And all I'm here to say to you is I come from a place of recovery. I could not heal when I was numb. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so that, like, I guarantee there's going to be all sorts of people release around you. And all I want you to do is I don't want you to try and take it away from them. I want you just to listen. Some of it will be like the truth. Some of it will just be like this. I call it like this offloading of emotion. Like, some of it may not even be true, but it's inside of them. So if you step back and just listen, I guarantee you it'll just be such a nicer experience for you, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Your birth month
July
and your day.
14.
Wow, that's great. 8, 9, 10. That's just amazing. Like, you understand that you came to this life as an advocate.
I can see that, yeah.
That you're a person that there is no doubt in my mind that you are very, very sensitive to any mistreatment of people, that there's a part of you that gets very, very upset. Even if, like, I mean, you're very sensitive to any type of abuse.
Spot on, yeah.
Yeah, like really, really sensitive to it. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's also for you that you walk between two worlds. And this is a constant thing. So you walk in the world of the faith, of people that have great faith, and then you walk in the world of logic.
Yeah.
And that there's a part of you that definitely walks in the energy of fear and also walks in the energy of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for you, you get to decide where would you prefer to put your life?
Okay, yeah.
In the energy of fear or in the energy of faith?
That makes sense.
Yeah. And for you, it's all about balance. Like, it is all about balance. Like, one thing I definitely would do, and it's almost like with you, it's almost as if you have to release what goes on with your emotions, because I do believe that you came to this life as a bit of a sponge. I do believe in a past life that that there was a lot of shaming going on with you. I do believe that you were court-martialed and that you were persecuted, and that you were shamed as a result of that, and that your spirit was somewhat broken. I also believe that you, at one point in that past life, like that either you were a guard or you were some sort of protector, and then that either you fell in the hands of the enemy. But there's no doubt in my mind that for you, it's all about balance, and there's a certain urgency when you're triggered. Like, does that make sense?
That does, yeah.
Yeah, and so like there's no doubt, like think about it, like here is this beautiful, sensitive, devoted guard that, you know, is captured. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that for you, and you would have been shamed, and there's no doubt. Just one sec, I want to check here. This is a shedding year for you, and this would be a spiritual shedding year, and this lets me know you're trying to let go of things in order to restore your balance. Like, does that make sense?
It definitely does.
And so next year, I'm so excited for you. You're going to be in a year of restoration. And this is where you get to restore a whole whack of stuff. Like when I was in an 8-year, I wrote a book. We opened the store. I told off the landlord. I paid off my car. You know, like just very, very balancing year, which is really good. Just one sec. I'm doing a calculation for you. Um, 2013. That would be a big year. 2004. 1995, so when you were 10. And 1986, so when you were 1 year old.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Do any of those years speak to you?
2004 is when I got pregnant with my oldest daughter,
Okay, and her name
Riley.
and birth year is 2004.
No, her birth year is 2005. I got pregnant in 2004.
Okay, and her month
February
and her day.
21st.
Wow. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, like you understand that this little girl has just healed so much for you in terms of female energy.
Yes.
And that there's no doubt in my mind that you can just feel that in a past life, that you shared a past life together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt, I guarantee that Riley was the mother and you were the child.
Okay. Yeah.
So there would be a bit of like resistance in this lifetime.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
there would be like she would ultimately control a lot of the power.
She thinks she does. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, you know, like and I mean it's really interesting because there's no doubt that she does. Like she demands a lot of your attention, and there's no doubt that there sort of is like, you know, it's kind of a weird thing. It's like when we have children and you know something happens to one of our children, then we're really, really worried about them, and so they confuse love with fear. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 I want to go to your mother. Your mother's birth year
59.
and the month
February
and the day.
13.
Wow. See that? Like this to me is so interesting. Your mother and your daughter share the same energy.
Yes.
And so just so you know, like they would have, and not only that, they share a past life connection as well, because you'll see it in their aspects. So I mean, just so you know, for you, there would be a balancing of that. Like, does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Yeah, and sometimes for you that can be a little bit annoying.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, listen, she's my kid, man. Like,
Yeah.
where's your loyalties? And so there's no doubt in my mind that, yeah. So I'm going to ask you a bit of a weird question, but did your mother ever experience the loss of a child?
Actually, when she was pregnant with me, I was supposed to be a triplet, and she lost the other two.
Yeah. Think about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yes.
And so do you see how she would clamp onto you? And do you
Yeah.
see how she would clamp onto your daughter?
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying that as soon as I did Riley, and then I connected with the parent, with your mother, then do you see how, I mean, I guarantee your mother never really recovered from that loss. And the other thing is that she would have just clamped onto you.
Yeah.
So do you see how you would equate love with fear when it comes to your mom?
Yes.
I mean, like, here's, like, and it's not a judgment. It's like, here's a woman who's pregnant with triplets. She loses two, and then she has one survive.
Yeah.
Do you see how she's not going to let anything happen to that surviving child?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do.
And so, like, just so you know, it's just so amazing. So do you see how, for your soul or your experience, because you're so young, you wouldn't connect it, that you would equate fear with the mother?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And do you see how, if you were to look at that with your own daughter, like, let me give you an example, okay? And it is very important to me that I say this to you. I had this one woman come to see me, and she came to see me, and she was in like she was in trouble, and she had been in trouble for a long time, and so then she starts getting really feeling better, like she was resolving a lot of stuff, and we did a lot of work, and she was feeling a lot better. And then what happens is her daughter starts having symptoms of issues, and it's because the daughter only knew the mother when the mother was struggling. And so once the mother started feeling better, the daughter didn't feel that she loved her. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, that's one thing I want you just to kind of look at. And so, I mean, doing the restorative work, and that's the year that you're coming into, it's
Yeah.
so neat because you can restore it for your mother, you can restore it for yourself, you can restore it for Riley, you can restore it for Riley's children. You know, just that is how powerful this work is.
Wow. Okay.
Like, don't you love that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, I know myself, I had a lot of fear around my daughter. And then once I discovered her past life, that she had died, I'd lost her as a son in a past life. It helped me to explain why I was so anxious about her.
Yeah.
Here's your first card. And so this speaks about a grip. So this definitely is a grip. Now, this could be a grip that your mother actually tried to do in trying to save the babies that she had. It can be just the grip of knowing that something was wrong. All I know is typically this type of grip you'll find in your tummy. And it just sits there. It just sits there until it's activated, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here's your next card. This lets me know you are a goddess. Look at this card. She's beautiful. She's powerful. She's beautiful. I mean, she just has this energy about her where people are drawn to her. You know, she just is this, how can I say, she's a goddess. So just so you know, this is the priestess. So highly intuitive. So in other words, anyone that you love, you look at them and know if they're okay or if they're not okay. And so for you, that definitely is a big thing. Here is your next card, and this lets me know that you're a spiritual leader and that you work with the energy of the eagle, which is this insight, and it's like shaman medicine, and that your soul is very, very old, and that no doubt in a past life you in fact were a bird. And so you would have this really beautiful, beautiful energy around you for sure.
Okay.
This one, this lets me know that you walked with the people that suffered in a past life. So this helps you to understand why you're so sensitive to other people, and why you're sensitive to their suffering, and why you take away their grief. And there's no doubt that that's what you did in a past life. So this is your last card, and this is a shadow card. So this really speaks about stuff that just kind of shadows us, and we don't really resolve it. It just kind of hangs on there. So I mean, this can be a story that, you know, that you may have kind of, what's the word, like started connecting with as a small child, and it still is there. So it's really being able to sort of look at that, and I do believe that it's connected to a past life. So I mean, like, and for you, because your soul is so old, that it's just really interesting. Like, I just love that you're in a year where you're really, really questioning that, and that you're trying to let go of some of that stuff, which is really beautiful, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Good, Victoria, did you like your reading?
I loved it. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I don't know how you could hear what I was saying from Lloyd's bell.
Yeah, he's keeping you on track.
I'm going to get him one of those great big gongs. At least then I'll get gonged. Anyways, thank you so much, Victoria, and no doubt, I mean, that's so neat that you and Riley have this beautiful, beautiful connection that is very, very old.
She's a pretty good kid, so.
And your mama, which is very cool. But yeah.
Riley signed in there going, ha ha, I'm Riley.
Oh.
Well, she texted me and said to me that I was rude when I said about her thinking she's the boss.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? It's just really sweet, right? Like, I mean, like, that's how close, like, honestly, it's like my daughter and I. Like, I swear, in a past life, we were like sisters. So, you know what I mean? Like, we're sisters, and your relationship with Riley is so connected. Like, I'm sure that you've walked many lifetimes. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that there's no doubt in my mind that your focus is on your daughter. But part of that is just because of how you love. But part of it, I guarantee you, is a legacy from your mom, that from what she experienced as well. And so we absorb the emotion and the losses of our mom. So yeah, you just tell Riley that you guys are like, you guys have been connected in lifetimes many, many times.
Nice. Yeah, she's listening, so she heard it all.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, Riley.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.
Are we good, hon?
Well, it's 9 o'clock,
Yes.
and we still have one more person on the list. So
Okay, let's do her. She's been waiting this long.
she's been
Let's
waiting.
do her.
Okay.
Come on, bring her. Bring her. I just gotta shuffle. Thanks, Lloyd. Okay, so we've done this. Uh-oh. She's been waiting a while.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, my love.
You're welcome.
Hello,
Hi, is this Nicole?
speaking.
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you for waiting. I could not read you tonight. I just feel guilty if I left you.
Oh, I really appreciate it.
Can you spell your name for me?
Nicole.
Okay, cool. Birth year?
1983.
Okay. And so you understand, for you, it's in your tummy.
100%.
100%. Like right there. And so for you, it just, give me 1 second. So it goes from your mind to your heart to your tummy, and then it just loops. And see what's really interesting? It almost like you'll go one way and then you flip on the other way. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, so in other words, there's a part of you that believes you get stuck.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say, impossible. There's so much movement that there's no way that you're stuck. It's just that I just feel like, you know what it feels like to me? It feels like as a young girl, it's almost as if you would rock to kind of calm yourself, and then something happened, and it's almost where it went side to side, and then it starts looping. Like, does that make sense?
So much. I still do it as an adult, like various ways of that.
Yeah, it's like a rocking. That's what I feel in your soul. So one thing I want you to do is, because it's almost as if there was an urgency that kicked in the spin, and it feels like a trauma that happened early in your life. So it's almost as if the rocking was not enough, that you had to bring in something else. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Your birth month?
May
Okay. And your day?
18.
Wow, see this? Like, you understand you're like a little sponge.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that there's no doubt that there's times where you just feel overstimulated.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, even with everything that's gone on, like in this last 9 months, this last year, for you, it's like you would have felt it big time.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and what's really interesting, see, that's why you're justice. That's why I felt the rocking. Like, I guarantee that at one time you rocked, and then and then something just happened. I'm going to try and figure out when that happened, but it almost feels as if that rocking was just not so good. Like, it just wasn't enough. And so for you, there's no doubt you get stuck in your mind. So it's with your mind and your tummy. And so, like, do you have a singing bowl?
Sorry, what's that?
Do you have a singing bowl?
No, but I've always been fascinated by them.
Yeah, I guarantee for you, sound and smell, huge.
Oh, huge.
So, like, something like basil or basil, however you want to say it, that definitely has a real earthy smell to it. Like, I guarantee you don't like sweet smell.
No.
No,
I hate it.
not at all. It's like you like more earthy. It's really neat. I brought in this stuff. I'll have to make some. And now that I'm talking to you, I just may be inspired to make it. It's called dirt. And it just smells like dirt. And so for you, that definitely would calm you down, because underneath it is a bit of urgency. And I do believe in a past life that you, in fact, were persecuted. I do believe that you were shamed. And because in this life, you understand that you're very sensitive to any type of dismissal, any type of shaming, and that there's a part of you that when you get upset, you pull your energy in.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, like it's very, very clear. It's very cool. 12, 13. I'm just going to do a calculation for you. Wow, this is a big year for you. What was going on in 2011? Because it's connected to this year.
I had a son.
Okay.
2011.
And his name?
Rowan.
And his birth year is 2011. The day?
15.
And the month?
April.
Wow. Can you talk to me a little bit about what was going on when you had your son Rowan?
I wasn't in the most stable of relationships, and that was a year where everything just started to shift in my life in a different direction.
Yeah, and I guarantee you that your son Rowan was honoring a contract because he came into your life as a 5. So you have a soul contract with your son. And there is no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be very honest with you. I think that there was a part of you that may not have been here without his presence in your life.
That's interesting.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Like he absolutely came into your life, and I do believe it's because you saved him in a past life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No doubt in my mind. And so, like, for you, it's almost like he has the aspect of the Father in his numbers. So it lets me know that there's no doubt in my mind that there's a disconnection with your dad, or there would have been some, you know, and so your son would have also helped to restore that.
That is so interesting because there's a huge disconnect with my father.
Yeah.
And my son has always played house. And
Yes.
has always
Yes.
been kind of that role.
Yeah, and all I'm here to say to you is, and I want you to hear me, and I'm saying this very respectfully. It's like with my daughter, it almost feels like the same, and that my daughter did the same for me, but it wasn't her job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like with
Because he always said yes to me. Like
yeah.
he never said no. And he's always like, you know, like anything I ever need,
Yeah.
he's more than happy to do for me.
Yeah, and I guarantee it's because he was contracted to do that. So all I know is it's just really great. Like, that's why I love when people, you know, resonate with that message, because it's so important. Like, I guarantee if you were to ask him, you come before him on his list. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
No.
What that means is if I were to ask him where, like, if he were to write a list of where his importance is on his own list, like, there would be you and then there'd be him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is we want it to be him first and then you. Just like with you first and then him. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's all good, but no doubt in my mind, like, I guarantee you sent a prayer. It reminds me of when I sent a prayer, please, please, please bring me someone who will love me unconditionally. And in my 50th year, because your son was born in a 5-year, like, that's when I met Lloyd.
Wow.
And so it's like, I swear, like, for you, because you have a 5, and if you notice, you have a 5 inside of you, so there is no doubt in my mind that he heard you, and that's why he came to your life. And I have to be honest, I think that there would be a part of you that may not have been here without his presence, that he gave you a reason to change. You couldn't change for yourself, but you were willing to change and shift on his behalf.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, it really is. But you know what? It's a contract. I guarantee it's because you did the same for him in a past life. Yeah. 2002, definitely. I'm going to go here. 1993. So you would have been 10 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
That was another shift sort of in my life where dynamics changed as a kid.
Yeah, and I guarantee that is where the rocking wasn't enough. Just so you know, whatever change would have taken you out of balance. And see, like, that's the other thing that's interesting with justice energy, is even the severing of the umbilical cord would have definitely kind of kicked you out of balance. So that's why for you, you know, like, just being in balance, you know, and like, there's no doubt in my mind, like, everybody I've talked to tonight has walked in the path of 10. Like, every single person that I've talked to has had the same, like, 10 years, and when they were, you know, when they were 1, and then when they were 10, and then when they were 19, you know. So it's like, it's just really interesting, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're just trying to figure out and sort of restore your spiritual balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what's really neat is, this is what I love, is you're not doing it for your son, you're doing it for yourself. That will offload the pressure for your son.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Your father's birth year?
1959,
Okay. And the month?
February
And the day?
20.
Wow, see, that's, I guarantee, with your father, you and your son, because do you see his numbers? 0220. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And I guarantee that he didn't know how to be in his body. Like, he didn't know how to be present.
That's very true.
Yeah. And I mean, like, look at, it's one and the other. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So it's like 02 is the same number, only flipped. So it's like he wouldn't answer a question, like he wouldn't want intimacy. And it's not like he's not this good person. He just had no clue how to be there. Like, in other words, he had no clue how to show up as a father. And there's no doubt in my mind, it's because in terms of his experience with his father, it would be empty.
It would be what, sorry?
Empty.
I don't know. His father was actually more of a present fatherly in my life than he was.
And all I'm saying to you is this, love. I believe you, but I guarantee that your grandfather was not there for his son.
Actually, that sort of makes sense too, because he was a long-haul truck driver.
Yeah. And so then, like, there's no doubt in my mind. And so what happens, like, that's one thing that happens a lot, like in readings that I do. It's like where a parent is really distracted and they're busy or they're absent. And so there's a disconnect. And then that same parent with your child is completely different. And even that is difficult. Like, what do you do with that? Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, here's your dad, and I guarantee you that he didn't have that connection with his father either. And so it's just interesting to me, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I want to just double check, because I'm a snoop. See, and there's no doubt in my mind that when you were born, your father was in a chariot energy. So there's no doubt in my mind, like, do you know what was going on with your mom and dad when they had you?
I don't really know.
Okay. And were they still together?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And the other one, and Rowan's father, his name?
Michael.
And birth year?
86.
And the month?
November.
And the day?
19.
Wow, and see, that's really interesting. And so was Michael in Rowan's life?
Not at all.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, like, don't you think that's interesting? Like,
Yeah.
I really do, because your Rowan's father is a 9, and so there's no doubt in my mind that he has quite a history. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? So in other words, it's like, think about it. Like, just think what it would be like for Michael. I guarantee you that he has a lot of shame around him.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's not him not wanting to be in Rowan's life. It's Rowan who has told him not to be in his life.
And see, like, all I'm saying to you is 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, do you want to hear something really wild? Like, this is what I love. I got to tell you this. Yes, Lloyd, I know you ding that bell. All I know is that Michael was in the very same vibration when he had Rowan as your father was when he had you.
Wow.
And I find that really, really interesting. And let me say this to you. Rowan hears his mom, hears his dad, And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that he came contracted to be connected with you. And I guarantee that if there was conflict between you and Michael, that your son would never go to see him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all I know is, I mean, it's so amazing. Like, it's just for you to sort of look at and just kind of think about. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And can I ask you, is there a Matthew around you?
No.
Okay. Was there a Matthew around you?
No.
Okay. Does Michael have brothers named Matthew?
No.
That,
But he was adopted, so
okay. I'm just, all I know is, I mean, I just believe that there is a connection with Michael with a Matthew. But yeah, so anyways, just so you know, I just think it's really fascinating. Like, it's just really interesting. And there's no doubt in my mind that Michael and Rowan definitely have a very interesting connection. And I guarantee you, like, think about it. Like, if you just look at Michael, I mean, I'm sorry, Rowan, like, his loyalties rest with you.
yeah.
And so when did Michael leave, or when did you and Michael no longer, when you guys split or whatever?
Shortly after Rowan was born.
Yeah, and so was Michael in his life up to a certain point?
Up until he was about 2.
Wow, eh? And then what happened?
He was deported.
Wow. And so, like, just think about that. Everybody loses. Do you know what I'm saying?
But I've always facilitated, and I've always, like, never in front of the kids, but, like, I've always, like, hey, do you want to talk? Do you want a video chat? We have a great connection with his mom. We have video chat with his mom all the time.
Right. And all I know is, it's just interesting to me, because all I know is that Rowan has a soul connection with you. So it's like, it almost feels like there's no room for his dad, because he would feel very divided. And I just think it's interesting. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think it's interesting. And so do you see your dad? Is your dad still alive?
He's still alive. I haven't seen him since I was really a teenager.
Yeah. And so it's just interesting, eh? Like, I just am here just to say, it's just an interesting thing that, you know, that we have this fatherless kind of experience. And I just believe that, you know, I just believe that your son has an opportunity to be able to heal that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's no doubt that, and let me just see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And so this year for Rowan's really big. What happened with Rowan in this year?
I'm not really sure because we haven't really done anything.
Okay, I want you to think. Did he have a conversation with his dad, or?
No. He did tell me, he's like, Mommy, I'll never tell you no.
Yeah, it's neat, eh? And so, like,
A lot better in school. His teacher called to tell me because he was struggling in school. Like, he doesn't focus and get his work done, and he's been doing that lately, and he's been making huge strides. To the fact that his teacher called me and to tell me how well he was doing.
oh, I love that. And this is what you just say to him. I have absolute faith in you, 100% faith. And see, that's the whole thing, right? It's like, you're his life. Just so you know. And so it's like being able to kind of just, and I believe it's a contract. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you know, and get him to put that in writing. I'll never say no to you, Mommy, because I guarantee sooner or later he's going to have to. So get him to put it in writing.
Right?
But all I know is what's really interesting is for you, this is both of you are just in a really neat year where things are going to change, and I want you just to know it's just kind of interesting. And this year for you is connected to 2011. So from 2011 to 2020, you learned 9 lessons about yourself. And so it's just really interesting. I just think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, did you like your reading?
I loved it.
What-
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and so I want you just to know, like, there's no doubt in my mind that I just can see, I mean, there's no doubt. And so does Rowan have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, he has 3 sisters.
Wow, and he's the only boy. Yeah, see, that's huge. I guarantee there's a big connection. You'll have to just think about what I said, and then if you feel that you want to text some other night, you just text, because I think that there's a whole whack of stuff underneath it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really do. Okay.
Like it was repeat. When you said the repeating thing,
Yeah.
everything seems to be like even different aspects even repeat themselves.
Yeah. And it's just really interesting. Like, think about it. Like, here, you know, he's surrounded by women, you know? And so did you get married, or do you have a partner?
I didn't get married.
Yeah, and so you have no partner?
Not currently at the moment.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, think about it. I mean, he's surrounded by sisters, and it's him. So he feels like an island. You know, so it's just interesting to me.
I think he likes it because everybody dotes on it.
Yeah. I know, I hear you. But it's just interesting for you to be able to sort of look at that. Like, it just gives you an opportunity to sort of revisit your relationship with your father, and then his relationship with his father. And it's just, I find it just interesting. And if you call back sometime with the grandfather's dates, I think it'd be interesting to find those out. Not just, yeah, I just think it would be. But it's just because I'm a bit of an investigator.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Bye, love.
Have a good night.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. See, Lloyd, not too bad. Are you going to come over here and say bye to people with us? That was a busy evening.
That was a busy evening. Yeah, we're about 25 minutes over.
Oh, wow. What are you going to do, eh? So I guess, come and sit down, darling. So we're going to do the draws.
Okay, we're going to have to do that in a few moments when we get all the stuff together for it.
Are we going to do it tonight? I think we should.
I think we should as well.
Okay.
And if you missed that little thing that we're going to do a little bit later on, we hope you all stay safe, and
We'll
enjoy.
come back with the winning ticket. The winning ticket for Sandy Edwards and the Larimar.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks for watching.
All right, thanks for watching. Take
Okay.
care, guys.
I'm going to click this off. Did I click it?